Ronda Rousey entered the world of professional wrestling with a level of hype that most wrestlers could only dream of. She was an incredibly talented UFC fighter and a lifelong WWE fan. Her wrestling debut was better than anyone ever expected. However, it didn't take long for wrestling fans to turn on her. In this video, we're taking a look at why Ronda Rousey went from being hailed as the baddest woman on the planet to one of the most hated women in wrestling. Leading up to WrestleMania 34, she was thrown into a storyline with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. After a contract signing, Ronda put Triple H through a table, setting the stage for her match. It would be Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. In the build-up, WWE played on the fact that Ronda had never wrestled before. Truth be told, many fans had low expectations. Of course, she was a fantastic, legitimate fighter, but wrestling is a completely different game. Yet, Rousey defied all odds. The way she performed in the ring made her seem like a naturally gifted pro wrestler. It was as if she had been doing it for years. While fans marveled at how good Rousey was, the truth was a little different. It turned out that the match had been choreographed down to the smallest detail. Of course, all WWE matches are predetermined, but this one was on another level. It was later revealed that she had trained for months at the Performance Center, rehearsing every sequence to perfection. After WrestleMania, WWE quickly capitalized on her momentum. Her first feud was with Nia Jax, leading to a match at Money in the Bank for the Raw Women's Championship. During that match, Alexa Bliss interfered, cashing in her Money in the Bank briefcase. This sparked a feud between Alexa and Ronda. The match between the two women was scheduled for SummerSlam, 2 months away. In the meantime, WWE did a great job building tension between them. Alexa spent weeks taunting Ronda, calling her an overhyped rookie. She even got Ronda suspended for 30 days. At SummerSlam, the match was incredibly one-sided. Bliss was utterly dominated by Rousey, and within 4 minutes, it was over. While Ronda's victory was meant to make her look unstoppable, it actually backfired. One Reddit user voiced a popular sentiment, unpopular opinion. I don't like the fact that Ronda is this powerful and realistic. For me, wrestling is more about the show. This feels like an MMA fighter kicking the crap out of a Barbie doll. This issue wasn't limited to Alexa Bliss. The fact that Rousey could realistically demolish every woman on the roster became a big problem for WWE. While she defended the title on multiple occasions, defeating the likes of Nikki Bella, Sasha Banks, and Ruby Riott, most of her matches were completely one-sided. There was no realistic way to present her as vulnerable. Becky Lynch, however, was one of the few wrestlers who could be perceived as a real threat to Ronda. Becky had been massively popular before her injury, and fans couldn't wait for her to return. She was soon entered into a feud with Ronda, which was exciting, but there was a major issue. Despite Becky being a heel, fans loved her and cheered for her. By default, they started booing Ronda. This marked the first time Ronda experienced a negative reaction from the crowd, despite being portrayed as the hero. She didn't handle it well. The plan seemed to be Ronda versus Becky at WrestleMania 35, but the build-up exposed Ronda's inability to separate her wrestling persona from her real-life self. WWE decided to use Twitter to develop the feud. As part of the storyline, Becky was arrested on Raw and posted fake mugshots on Twitter. Ronda, however, refused to play along. She tweeted, "You hobbling around trying to be a ginger crutch ninja and taking fake prison photos in the hallway isn't helping." Becky tried to steer her back on track, but Ronda doubled down. "Fake? You mean fake like your nonsensical BS armbar that doesn't even work and just looks like you're holding the dick you wish you had?" This broke the illusion of the wrestling feud, as Ronda blatantly pointed out the fake nature of wrestling moves. She even started using Becky's real name, Rebecca Quinn, and tweeted, "I don't care what the script says. I'm beating the living crap out of you the next time I see you." Ronda's behavior on social media disrespected the wrestling business and its fans. Her lack of understanding about how wrestling works was baffling. While she was authentic in the UFC as a legitimate sports competitor, the first rule of professional wrestling is to maintain the illusion. To some degree or another, you're going to be playing a character. You don't have to be a clown to understand that. The WrestleMania match became a three-way between Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Apart from Becky Lynch, Flair was the only other woman on the WWE roster who could believably go toe-to-toe with Ronda. Becky gained some salvation for the horrible feud with Ronda, as she pinned her for the victory and became the new women's champion. That marked the end of Ronda's first run in WWE. Ronda didn't waste any time putting fans on blast. She said, "What am I doing it for if I'm not able to spend my time and energy on my family? Instead, I'm spending it on a bunch of ungrateful fans that don't even appreciate me. I love performing. I love the girls. I love being out there. But at the end of the day, I was just like, these fans, dude. My family loves me, and they appreciate me. I want all my energy to go into them." So that was my decision at the end of the day. Dealing with fans who love you one minute and hate you the next is part of being a pro wrestler. You just have to roll with the punches, literally. But Ronda obviously took this job far too personally. During this period, she took every opportunity to blast the fans. It's hard not to take it personally from the fans because I don't go out there as... I do go out there as a character, but I'm also actually Ronda Rousey. I don't play Ronda Rousey on television, so sometimes I take it personally from the fans. Not so much from the wrestlers, but the fans. I do. It's such pressure when I'm the last one on the show because I feel like it's my responsibility to retain the ratings and deliver. In an environment as tightly scripted as WWE, for her to think she could just be herself was, to say the least, naive. Despite all her complaints, she returned to WWE at the 2022 Royal Rumble. Fans were puzzled as to why she came back, considering how unhappy she'd been during her first stint. This time, the fans were far less impressed. Many had heard her negative comments about them and the wrestling business in interviews. Vince McMahon's decision to bring her back as a good guy, babyface, baffled everyone. She would have worked far better as a heel, but no, she returned as a babyface. After being gone for over 2 years, she just walked back in and stamped her ticket to WrestleMania. At the time, people were growing tired of WWE's reliance on part-time wrestlers. It seemed unlikely that Ronda would stick around for more than a year or two. Even the match she ended up in at WrestleMania was a huge disappointment. The obvious plan would have been for her to wrestle Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 38, this time with Lynch as the babyface. But that didn't happen. Instead, she lost to Charlotte Flair before beating her a month later at Backlash in an I Quit match. The issue of Ronda having no credible opponents was even worse this time. She lost the title when Liv Morgan cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase, leading to a totally unbelievable feud. It was obvious to anyone watching that Ronda could have easily defeated Liv in a real fight, yet they dragged the feud out for 2 months. After that, she feuded with Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, and Natalya. Still, the only credible opponent WWE could find for her was Charlotte Flair, who defeated her in under a minute. By this point, it was clear WWE didn't know what to do with her. They paired her with Shayna Baszler, and the duo bullied their way through SmackDown's women's tag division. But from the look on Ronda's face, you could tell she didn't want to be there. Her in-ring work was deteriorating rather than improving. Her last match in WWE was at SummerSlam 2023, where Shayna Baszler defeated her in an MMA rules match. Fans heavily criticized the match. It was a sloppy mess that was embarrassing to watch. It didn't cater to WWE fans at all. Instead, it was filled with MMA Easter eggs meant for hardcore MMA fans.